Hey guys, what's up? It's Dan Weinberger here, CEO of Morpheus.Network, here with another AMA. First of all, as always, want to thank the community for some amazing questions. Look forward to answering these questions for the community. I'm sorry that I'm a couple weeks late on the AMA, but we've been working on a ton of different projects, tons of different things. So believe me, no time has been wasted. So without further ado, let's get to these questions over here. So can you give a short hint what will happen with the MRPH as you obtain revenue? Can you confirm they will not be sold on the open market? You know what, that question, it's a fantastic question. And it's difficult to answer because there's many factors involved when it comes to the flow of the token, the flow of the revenue that's brought in. When you look at that revenue, you have to look at how is the revenue brought in, right? Either the client paying for it, was it connected through an ISV or through another partner, an ISV being an independent software vendor that has a contract with us, so it's a contract with a contract. What our expenses are at the time as well, and how we have to sort of settle up those expenses as well. What currency payments are being flowed through the platform, whether it's a payment in US dollars, whether it's in MRPH, so on and so forth. All those different factors are involved in answering that. And one thing that is, of course, critical is that the token will flow through the system, and it is, for the utility token to work, and it'd be mapping all these different supply chains. It's important for the health of the token economy, for the token to be flowing through the system as well. As transactions are ramped up with these various projects we're working on, and that we're super excited about, obviously, we'll be constantly monitoring and adjusting and making sure that everything's flowing in the right proper way in order to push these transactions through, in order to properly segregate the funds where they have to go with all the partners, the ISVs, so on and so forth. Now, with these partners, and of course, as you see on our roadmaps, substantial revenue is not only in our sites, but we've roadmapped it as well. And of course, we want to get to substantial revenue as soon as possible. But as you can imagine, it's not just about building the tech. It's also about perfecting what you're doing and monetizing those functionalities as well. And a lot of times with these companies, you only get one chance at it, right? So you want to make sure you do it perfectly right. Some of these projects, they just take time. For example, we have some companies we're working with overseas in China, and for a manufacturing process to begin and a shipment to go off, you're talking sometimes north of 90 days for the manufacturing process, then another at least a month for the ocean shipping as well. And with our QR codes and tracking and so on and so forth, we can't ramp up to a massive company running thousands of millions of transactions at one time when we're setting off these multi-month sort of shipments, perfecting that process, which is going beautifully and going really well. And we're excited to obviously move ahead with a lot of these companies as well. We're going to be releasing a whole bunch of blog posts with a bunch of the companies that we're working with, and what exactly the functionalities they're using, and with the platform and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, most definitely, our main focus, of course, as it's always been, is working towards sustainable revenue and long-term success. With our sustainable business model, check out our other Medium post talking about the fees and so on and so forth, and that model. Very excited about it. Of course, processing a large number of transactions with the clients that we're working with and future clients, and that's what we're obviously gearing towards. So, but all this is a long-term play. And it's not something that we're, thinking that's going to, happen tomorrow necessarily. But, tomorrow we're working towards it happening for the near future as well. So, sorry. So I got kind of sidetracked on that, but, sort of answer your question within that as well. So, anyhow, tokenomics, the incentives to holding the token. Okay. So I did talk a little bit of the tokenomics and all that, and what I could mention. The funny thing is that we get this question all the time. I see it in Telegram. People asking about the tokenomics and what exactly we can reveal. What I need to do, in a sense, is remind people exactly what the token sale agreement states, and I have to follow that token sale agreement. From the beginning with this project, I'll tell you, we've tried to do everything properly. When it comes to doing things legally and soundly, when it comes from a securities perspective or whatever we mention. So I'm going to read this directly from our token sale agreement, actually. So the MRPH tokens carry no rights other than the right to use them on the Morpheus Network platform. They do not represent or confer any ownership or equivalent rights or any right to receive future income. They only give you rights relating to the provision and receipt of services and are not intended to be utilized outside the Morpheus.Network platform, nor as a digital currency, security, commodity, or any other financial instrument. I can't break that. I can't break that by answering questions that are trying to lead me towards breaking something like that, right? So that's really the only way I can answer questions exactly like that. Just for the I guess you can say security of the project and everything we've been working towards from the beginning. We put a lot of effort to doing this the right way. I'm not looking to mess that up right now. So yes, next question. So hi Dan, I really love the way you interact and think about the community investors. I really hope you keep doing that in the future. About the future, where do you see yourself in 5 to 7 years? I love these questions. So the CEO of a company that is no longer called a startup, or would you leave the ship to give the rudder to another captain? Nice play. To build something else, for example. I mean this in a good way, just trying to get you to say if Morpheus.Network is your life's work or not. Listen, I can confidently say that my daily focus is not 5 to 7 years down the road. I'm building right now. I'm excited for what I'm doing right now. And the way I see it, if I had to be put on the spot, I'd say I want to do exactly what I'm doing. I'm so happy. I'm saying 7 years from now, like you say, it wouldn't be a startup anymore. So maybe a scaled up version of what I'm doing right now. But I cannot, I don't know how I can convey this in a stronger fashion, that this really is my passion. I'm very excited about what I'm doing with this project on a day-to-day. I'm excited for next week, a month, a year, so on and so forth from now. So 7 years from now, I'm 7 times more excited than a year from now. So, but yes, I'm truly focused on this project right now. I truly believe that what we're doing can change the world. And I don't know if I can say that about anything else that I've done in my entire life. So I'm pretty excited about that. And to say that am I thinking about what I'm going to do after 7 years down the road and I've changed the world? No, I'm thinking about changing the world. So not my focus right now, but I love what I do. So my view is I will continue doing that. So next question. Sorry. Good question though. A lot of logistics companies are a bit old fashioned when it comes to communication. I can understand these companies would rather have face-to-face contact with a representative that helps them in the Morpheus.Network process. How are you planning on realizing that across the globe? Aside from traveling for the right meetings, for the right partners, the right instructionals, we have these video calls. Whether we're using Skype, which isn't necessarily my favorite, but it does work when it needs to most of the time, and Zoom as well. The technology is amazing, brings the world all together. So we've had a lot of success with that. When it comes to onboarding clients, we will put a dedicated support rep, and whether a dedicated support rep is face to face or someone somewhere remote, if they are dedicated and they know what the specific project are and they have a personal connection with who they're working with, then we're finding that's working really, really well. So technology brings us together, and being supportive regardless of physical location has also worked really well for us. So. What are your plans for marketing, increase awareness once the platform is released? I don't know if people have been following closely what we've been doing, to grow. And, the way we've been wanting to grow and to get to this level of, many thousands of transactions, millions of transactions down the road, obviously, is through our networks and our incubators. If you see these networks we're a part of, they're literally connected to thousands of companies. Through these partners, these ecosystems, these incubators that we're lucky to be a part of. And that's what we're focusing all of our energy towards, is, developing business within those ecosystems, with those partners that we have, with the clients that we have, developing real solutions for their problems. That is where a lot of our time, money, dedication goes towards, where we push our developers, we push our team. Even when we push our business development team is to figure out solutions, and for growth, so, basically our efforts lie with our core clients, perfecting our tech, which I'm, very excited about how that's progressing. So, all right, next question here. What market size of global trade are you aiming over the next few years? Well, that's also a great question. As you can see by, the type of ecosystems based on what I had just, that last question, with plug and play, and our alliances with IBM, partnership with SAP, The companies that we're connecting to are the biggest companies in the world. They're the biggest verticals. So obviously, hypothetically, every corporate connected to Plug and Play wants us, to take over their company. We're not necessarily, in the position to do that right now. We're working on these individual functionalities that we're perfecting. We're going to scale up for these companies. So we're excited that these companies are interested in what we're doing. We love the way our tech's working. We're going to show that off, more so for the community as we're doing so for the clients as well, customizing when necessary, putting in those extra hours of work and showing, these corporates how passionate we are about what we're doing. And not just myself, but it's everybody involved in the company, whether it's Noam or Carl or anyone down the line, even right down to any one of the developers and the community managers and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, it's, basically, I guess you can say that we're wanting to, support as large of a piece, that we can physically support, of the global trade market. So, now someone asks questions here, update the roadmap. The roadmap has been updated. I don't know if the person who asked this question has been on the website recently. There is an updated roadmap, update on mainnet. The mainnet is live. Once again, you can check our Medium post on that. Update on tokenomics. We talked about that already. Pilot projects. Okay. But we can talk some fraud prevention protocol. Once again, this is a project that we're developing with SAP. This is using our amazing geolocation capabilities. We're testing it out with simple QR codes, attaching it to items which are authentic. If something needs to go to a certain spot, it's actually following the proper geolocation and the proper routing it needs to go to. If it's being sold at the wrong geolocation and that's being scanned at that location, it will ping the network and let the network know that there's something going on, something fraudulent going on. This system is amazing. It's awesome that automatically as a simple module, drag and drop module, you can have the fraud, the FPP as we like to call it, protocol active for any one of your products. And then it adds it to your complete fraud protocol system where you can check on all the products that you've added to the system, right? So really is amazing, and looking forward to not only developing this and pushing this ahead with SAP and exhibiting it to clients with SAP, but also pushing it ahead with our corporate partners with Plug and Play as functionality for our other partners as well, for Joffroy Group and bunch of their clients too, and we're going to be exhibiting it for everybody possible because we're obviously very proud of it as well. So, there's also the pilot project with import export, also going amazingly well. Fantastic interest. I get this question a lot. It's not one of the AMA questions for some reason, but how happy are the clients receiving these real world shipments, or the customs brokers and all that, and they're ecstatic. I'm getting such great positive feedback saying how simple it is of a system to basically just, you basically just click away and, you're doing a customs import, dealing with, cross-border shipments has literally never been so easy to sound cliche. And, we're getting the same feedback from the customs brokers who have done this, millions of times before, tens of thousands of times before, let's say, and, are basically saying that the documentation is perfect. Everything's working really, really well. So our import export, pilot projects going amazingly well. And yeah, we're looking forward to expanding the scope of these projects. We've been pushing to various continents. If people have been watching our YouTube recent videos with the QR codes and all that, we've actually done QR codes with companies in 6 continents all around the world. In Africa recently as well. We have recently a signed document with an African company, which is fantastic. Doing a whole bunch of tracking for Chinese companies as well. Work with some American companies too. So looking forward to releasing those in our Medium posts as well. So everything going really, really well. So any new developments with Chainlink or Walton Chain? It seems Chainlink is live. A lot of these blockchain projects will come to life. Curious to know details regarding that. And Walton because of RFID. Thanks for all your hard work, Dan and team. Well, you're welcome for all hard work. Enjoy it, of course, so no problem at all there. To be honest, we've been working on these projects and, these pilot projects that are, obviously take up a lot of our time. And to be honest, when it comes to Chainlink and Wallet Chain as well, we haven't done much work with them recently. Both great teams, great projects. And, with Chainlink, is, especially the work that we've done with them in the past, we dealt specifically with Thomas, who's just a genius and just a great guy and easy to work with, and David as well. And we'll definitely be working more with Chainlink in the future. They're great guys, and it's a fantastic project. And Walton as well. RFID technology is amazing. To be honest, right now we have a couple pilots that we're sort of connected with other RFID and NFC providers as well. It doesn't mean we're not going to be working with Walton Chain in the future, and what they're doing is fantastic. But these other partners who have, or I guess you can say a little bit more established in that industry, are opening some more doors within their networks as well. So it's not something that we're obviously never close the doors on any sort of projects with other companies and so on and so forth. But right now, we haven't done anything recently with them, but we will in the future, I'm sure. So, what companies are using the platform to test their thing? Any big names already on board? It's a good question. Definitely more announcements will be coming, discussing more companies. The ones that we've announced, obviously, some amazing companies. And someone asks, any big companies on board? Joffroy, in my opinion, the Joffroy Group. I said this in one of the chats I have, but that is a dream partner. That is a dream partner. They're connected to some of the biggest corporates in the world when it comes to logistics specifically, and helping them optimize what they're doing and pushing ahead with these projects through Joffroy. They're obviously a massive partner, and having other customs brokers and shipping companies and people, different companies and people within logistics is huge for us in developing what the platform is, and the different module functionality, and perfecting that functionality as well with their real world experience and hands-on knowledge. So all right, next question. Excuse me, sorry. How do you see this going? The onboarding of new customers. It's a fact that Morpheus team did build an amazing platform. What strategy plan to onboard companies to use this amazing platform? I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's these multipliers. All these different companies we're connecting to are connecting us not only to them and in their sort of like business processes and the revenues we can gain through those specific kind of partners and clients, but also who they're connected to. If you look at the customs brokers we're connected to, a customs broker is a fantastic client in itself, but they're connected to many clients and do customs brokerage for many clients. That is a multiplier. These alliances we're connected to, the right partners that we've selected when it comes to not only customs brokers, but within trucking company, within logistics. If you look at Cubic, for example, Cubic deals with warehousing for other companies. Again, a multiplier, and Cubic's a fantastic. I think that's one of the questions as well. Fantastic company, still in discussion, still working with them. Excited to get our QR codes, within their warehouses as well. QR codes, which we as I said, we have them all around the world. And Cubic's, Hema, the CEO of Cubic's, is just a fantastic lady, and looking forward to not only once again pushing ahead with our partnership with Cubic, but also exhibiting some more technologies that they can take advantage of, and we can take advantage of what they're doing as well with their the warehousing tech. So it really is amazing. And if you look at even our ISV partners, when it comes to, let's say, for example, Blockchain Guru, they're connected to so many different companies out there as well, and SAP and IBM, and you look at the plug and play ecosystem and all those corps as well. That's what we're looking to build up our clientele with, getting these amazing core companies using the platform, and then building up from there as well. And I will say that we have a lot more, besides who we're connected to. There are corps that we're dealing with specifically, more announcements that we'll follow as well with that. And growing nonstop, and very excited about that. So, okay, a question you probably can't read anymore. What about getting Morpheus at one more great DEX to trade? B-Bucks would be amazing. Morpheus team, keep going. You are all hardworking. Thank you so much. Now, I'll say, most of you, I'm not saying everyone, but you're aware that I cannot talk in great detail about anything related to exchanges. I understand specifically why people are asking about that. I will say, I can reiterate that our solitary and our laser focus is on building the business. And it doesn't matter what exchange, with BBOX is a great exchange, but it doesn't matter which exchange we're on, whether BBOX or any other exchange. If the business is not developed and the business fails, then it doesn't matter what exchange we're on, then everything fails, right? So laser focus on establishing the business, and yes, at the right time, the right exchange, we will be announcing that. So what is your timeline to hit 1 million APR via platform fees? Okay. You know what? I mentioned it before. We had a Medium post pretty recently about the roadmap. Now that roadmap includes some numbers in there as well. You can follow that roadmap. Now those numbers weren't pulled out of a hat by any means. It's a very complex business plan, a business canvas laid out, and those numbers is what we have to maintain. Now, if I look at what we've done in the past year, we had a roadmap. Have we hit every sort of a milestone on that roadmap? We absolutely have. Have we just barely hit those milestones? Let me think back to what we've accomplished in the past year. If you think about it, not only did we hit all the targets, all the time targets, right? But plug and play, that was not a part of the roadmap. That was a lot of work, and we got that. We achieved that. So that's something in addition to hitting all our milestones. Being a UN delegate and going to China and a UN speech, that was not part of the roadmap. Noam was as a hackathon mentor alongside John McAfee in Malta, also not part of the roadmap. Something else we accomplished. Something. How about a new smart contract and complete redistribution? That also is not on the roadmap. It's something we accomplished. So we actually finished a lot more things in this past year. Now, does that mean that we can be certain that we'll reach our goals faster if it, given that everything can go smoothly or achieve more? We can't guarantee that, but very confident we're going to be working just as hard and achieving so much in this next coming year. It's every single day is more and more exciting, and the reaction and development is just moving along so quickly. So yes, my timeline has to stick with the roadmap. We'll be pushing hard. I think everyone knows that. So how important is token liquidity to the success of the platform? What steps were taken in the first quarter year to increase it? I'll be really honest with you. At this point, it is not important. I know some people don't want to hear that probably, but we have a ton of company tokens we can use, and it can be instantly accessed for transactions at the moment. Our critical mission right now, as I mentioned, is building the business and transactions to be pushed through the platform, and liquidity on exchanges. Most definitely cannot be a roadblock. At building up the business. So, when can we expect an updated white paper? Definitely in the works. And I'll be brutally honest with that as well, that it is not our top priority right now. We have so many projects on the go right now, building up these businesses and building up the business and developing these, sort of partnerships. And let's be honest, we've signed Geoffroy, all of the clients we're dealing with plug and play. Not a single one of them have asked for the white paper. It's not like we have Geoffroy that's saying, okay, before I sign a contract with Morpheus.Network, I'd like to see your white paper. That has never come up. The dozens of companies that we're talking to and dealing with, it has not come up. Has not come up. So that that is just a personal survey, and it's the sample is not of millions of people by any means. But from my personal experience, it has not been a huge issue with any of our clients and partners who are essential in building the business. And it's something that I'm very excited about. The white paper. I think it's going to be an amazing read, and actually, I already have it in my head how it, the structure of it and how it's been put together and so on and so forth. It just has to happen at the right time. So I'm not going to give a specific deadline on it. I'd rather not and have to push that back. But yes, it is something that's in our sights and it will be completed. What about source code? Is there a plan to make it public or not? It's a great question. Another great question. Now, as everyone knows, we're focused on business development. Part of that is actually using our API. It's actually a huge advantage to have companies use our API. For example, one of the things I'm very excited about is a company currently using our API. They have tens of thousands of clients using their platform. So someone like that leveraging our API, automatically they have the functionality and, utilizing our tech and our system on the back end for tens of thousands of clients. So, in my mind, that is one of the, great ways to grow, and almost like in a silent way on the back end. It's providing functionality to established companies for established corporates that use, a technology that they already trust. And then we're going to implement, giving them extra capability and enriching their services even further. So yeah, very excited about that. Definitely going to make our API available. Definitely want to also accept, APIs from other techs and other functionalities within the platform as we have already, through our layering and so on and so forth. So very excited about that as well. So, all right, next question. When the resources in a warehouse is running low, does the company get a notice from this? And also, does a button and automatic ads supply to the warehouse? We have notifications built in throughout the platform. Any channel you need, basically, it can notify you in different situations, and even in different situations within the platform, you can set up a notification within a module. So notifications, no issue. It's going to be all over the place. And you mentioned a button. A button would cause a human to actually have to do something. If we have the inventory of the company synced, using their ERP system through the platform, we should actually have in an order going out, which lowers the inventory, trigger, the automatic addition of supply to the warehouse, as you mentioned there. So that can all be a part of an automated system. You could have a button, a specific button as a trigger, or a QR code that you scan, or so on and so forth. You could use that as a trigger, but there are other systems and ways to do it as well. But I love thinking through those different workflows and so on and so forth. So has a platform began to generate revenue? We've been running real world transactions with our partners. Will be billed as we've been calling beer money, we mentioned before. But once again, when it comes to billing and all that right now, and the beer money, that's out there is, that's not our goal right now. We in a sense willing to forego the beer money for the real treasure at the end of the rainbow, which is actually running these full, complete workflows. So breaking up these real transactions and these, individual SaaS processes to perfect them in order to put these full workflows all together, which is definitely our long-term goal. It's coming together really, really well. So estimate when Morpheus.Network SaaS will be available for purchase in the SAP App Center. No exact date has been set for this as well. It definitely will not be called the Morpheus.Network SaaS. It would be specific functionalities. Wouldn't want to make something so confusing, for the this SAP app marketplace, sort of shoppers. But I'd estimate within the next year. But nothing's written in stone with that as well. But yes, it would definitely be specific functionalities we'd be offering through the SAP Marketplace and App Center. And that is something that we're also, as I mentioned, with our API, be able to provide that for other companies as well. Through systems that they're using. But yes, through SAP's App Center is definitely something we're targeting as well. So. With the platform having a rolling launch status, what was your estimation for fully launched platform? Really, I'd say never, in a sense, because it's constantly growing. Even companies like Google and Microsoft, they're constantly developing. We're constantly adding on new functionalities, integrating with new systems as other systems get upgraded. Upgrading our systems as well. So customizations will constantly continue, and we'll constantly be expanding our API library and all that. So I don't fully think that at one point we'll say we're done, we're fully launched and everything's done. So with the implementation of HoloChain, with the need for master nodes. Now I'm not a developer myself. Vignesh, it's not a Vignesh AMA, it's a Dan AMA. We can get Vignesh, who would definitely be more suited, I guess, to answer this perfectly. But yes, it is actually essential to still have the master nodes with the implementation of HoloChain. Basically through the nodes, you connect to these side chains, to these layered side chains, such as HoloChain in this example. So yes, it is essential to have master nodes even with the implementation of HoloChain. Hello, was there any info about mapping selected data? on private or public blockchains on Morpheus Blue? Can a client select which information to share publicly whilst keeping others private? Again, this is a perfect Vignesh question. He would answer this easily and right away. I will do my best though. Now, the private data is not stored on a publicly visible blockchain, of course. What is stored on the publicly visible blockchain is the hash value of that data. The private data is always kept separate, and the hash of that data is unique. So if any modifications are made to that file or document, within the supply chain, in the private server or, within a blockchain, private blockchain as well, the hash value changes, which is stored on the public blockchain. Our layering tech allows us to store whether it's on a legacy system, whether it's an AWS Amazon-based system, so on and so forth, whether it's on a public chain or a private chain, we can layer in whichever tech is needed to store, basically at the right situation. So, and we're working very closely with our clients and customers, of course, to ensure that the right balance of private and public information is met. And of course, that, any private data is always in control of that specific client. So, will Morpheus have an API which allows companies to pull data from the platform into another system they're using, like SAP? Yeah, that is something I talked about that before. We're very excited about that. We actually have a company right now already using our API. I've been testing it and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's another way to that I see us growing. The growth of the company is through that API and providing it to various platforms and companies and so on and so forth. And in a sense that gives us access to all their clients who are already part of that system. So most definitely, great question. How will you safeguard the quality of the custom modules available in the marketplace? Will they, for example, be bug tested by the team? Yes, definitely. We have a partnership with Hacken, constantly in discussions with Hacken as well to make sure that the quality and no bugs and so on and so forth. And what's great about the customized modules and customized functionalities, they're created by companies that are using them. So they want it to work very well and work smoothly for them. They're selfish in that way, which is great for us because other companies are going to be using that same module will also get the benefits of that smooth working custom module. So yeah, it's fantastic working with companies that specifically, for example, like Customs Direct, they know everything, the ins and outs of cross-border and everything that has to do with shipping across the border, right? So, everything's been perfect and smooth with them. We haven't had a single shipment held up with, improper documentation or anything like that at all. And yeah, it's a perfectly working system in my opinion. So, that is, sort of, how can maintain the quality is making sure that, the people who are, part of the development are wanting to use it as well. And also obviously our team and all that will make sure that the quality is there. So, and yeah, that was the last question. I hope I answered everyone's questions in there. If there's any that I missed at all, always feel free to email the team. Let us know what you think, how we're doing. And yeah, I always look forward to these AMAs because I love the questions. It really shows where the community's head's at and what everyone's thinking. So I want to thank everybody for the fantastic questions. And once again, everybody, as always, have a great day.